This is the brand new New Balance SC Elite V5, the fastest racing shoe New Balance has to offer. This video is my first impressions of the new SC Elite V5 shoe. How soft is the midsole? What's the real stack height? Let's get the disclosures out of the way. New Balance gave me this shoe for the launch in Singapore. I just needed to attend a New Balance group run. It was 5x1K and 400 repeats, and post stories and reels on Instagram. This YouTube video is just voluntary, so I'm free to say whatever I want and mention other brands in this video as well. Thanks a lot New Balance for the shoe. Now I have the same shoe as the triathlon Olympic and world champion Alex Yee. By the way, I'm not a running shoe reviewer, so apologies if I don't talk about what you may be looking for. First, let's talk about the weight, because that's the entire story about the new version of the shoe. It shaved off a lot of weight from the previous version, making it a lot more narrow in the midsole and also a 4mm lower stack height in the front. So it's now 40 at the back and 32 at the front. We'll measure the stack height later. For this shoe, I sized down half a size because I like a really snug fit for my race shoes. And it also saved me quite a bit of weight. Size US 9.5 is claimed to be 214 grams, and when I weighed this shoe on my scales, it was 186 and 190 grams for the left and right side. So it's about a 7 gram saving each size down. Not bad actually. So this is currently the lightest shoe I have now. However, there are even lighter shoes on the market. For example, the A6 Tokyo shoes or the Puma Fast R3 Nitro Elite 3, well, whatever that name is. They are both 170 grams for a US size 9. Those two shoes are even lighter than this in standard US 9 sizing, so those shoes will be even lighter in my size. 2025 has really been a crazy year for race shoes in both the weight and foam department, and it wasn't much long ago that 200 to 220 grams was the typical weight of race shoes. Now it's below 170, and so this in US size 9.5 wearing 214 is kinda at the bare minimum standard you expect for race shoes already. Well, one of the reasons why this New Balance weighs more than 200 grams is because the foam here is still P-bar, 100% P-bar, whereas those lighter shoes that I mentioned now use TPU or TPE foams, whatever those are. I'm not really up to date with the different foams on the market, but I know there are newer foams than P-bar already, like the foams in Puma and A6. Not all P-bar foams are equal. P-bar race shoes used to be firm and responsive, and thankfully the P-bar here is tuned to be softer and there's lots of travel in the heel. That's great, it's keeping up with the competition these days. I don't know whether this softer P-bar is faster or slower than the firm P-bar. I have no way to test this, but I do enjoy the softer experience. If you're wondering how soft this foam is here, this still isn't the softest foam New Balance makes. When I went to the Running Lab store to collect this pair of shoes, I also went to touch the foam on the Rebel V5, and the foam in the Rebels was significantly softer than this. So that makes me think that P-bar shoes needs a bit of firmness to make it responsive and fast. By the way, the Rebel doesn't have a carbon plate in it, so you feel all the softness the foam has to offer. And that could be exactly what you're looking for in a soft training shoe if you are looking for a marshmallowy experience. However, my take on this midsole is that if you're truly looking for a more modern racing shoe experience, I think those newer foams like the TPU and TPE foams will still be lighter and softer and also maybe faster. So that's what I would spend my money on instead of a P-bar shoe again. I'll be looking at the likes of the Puma Fast R3, A6 Metaspeed Tokyos, and even the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2, which has a TPE foam in it. I'm not sure what the magic is in TPE foams, but the Saucony Elite 2 is the softest shoe in the world right now, and according to the testing done by Run Repeat, that shoe has the most energy return according to their tests. So Saucony is really cooking this year, and that's why that's my dream shoe. Okay, back to the New Balance. I think this could be one of the best P-bar based shoes only because other brands are moving away from P-bar. I've seen some YouTube videos about this shoe already, and this shoe is kind of comparable to the Nike Vaporfly. You get a similar experience with it. There is no doubt this will still be a fast shoe, but to me, there's no special standout feature which makes me want to spend my money on these. Next, let's talk about the ride feel. If you land on your heel, it may feel a bit unstable because the carbon plate is high up in the foam, and it does run like how it looks. If you land on your mid to forefoot, the carbon plate is low in the foam, and that gives a much more confident and stable ride. Also, you don't really feel as much softness in the forefoot as the heel, again because of the low carbon plate. Cornering isn't the best, just like most other racing shoes. I had to be slightly careful when I took some corners. New Balance claims the stack height at the back is 40 and the front is 32mm, and according to my ruler, that's just about right. The sidewalls don't come out very high, so measuring them this way isn't far off. New Balance said they removed 4mm in the forefoot from the previous version to save weight. 4mm is really quite a big drop, but I just checked other race racing shoes forefoot stack height, and it seems like 32mm in the forefoot is the standard. Even the Alpha Fly 3 and Dolphin Pro 4 both are 32mm in the forefoot. One race shoe that's above 32mm in the forefoot is the Asics Metaspeed. I don't know whether New Balance made a good move lowering the stack height to the standard, because that just makes this shoe even more normal and less special. There will be runners who want more foam in the forefoot as well, like me, so I feel they should have kept at least 34mm in the forefoot, and at least that sets it apart from most other 32mm. I didn't really have any problems with the upper so far, no heel slippage or laces discomfort. Even though race shoes typically have a very minimal design, it has a very comfortable step-in feel because there is sufficient padding at the heel area. I think New Balance has finally got all the right elements in their top tier racing shoe. It's finally trimmed down a significant amount of weight, but now I just feel like it meets the standard of the competition and not exceeding it. Traditionally, New Balance was known for having the softest foam in the market, especially since the SC Trainer V1, but now all the top race foams are equally as soft and responsive as well. So this is definitely a great racing shoe, probably in the top 10s but definitely not top 5s. Because I feel there's nothing really special with it that stands out, so at 339 Singapore dollars, it's not much less than those extremely fast shoes like the Puma Fast R3, which is claimed at 2 to 4% faster than the Alpha Flies, or the Asics Tokyos with the new Leap foam, which is super light and soft as well, and the Saucony Elite 2, which I mentioned, which has the softest foam in the world and also has the highest energy return according to the run repeat testing. I hope the next version of the shoe will have something special that could help it stand out. That's just my take on the New Balance SC Elite V5. Hope this video helps you in your buying decision of your next race shoe, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.